On a cold December morning in mid-July, 1937, Jeremiah Clotton Clogs Brown was born. Some legends say his birth heralded the Tennessee swan combustions, still others that he was born with the ears of a lemur and a chicken feather beard. And while none are true, one thing is certain: Jeremiah Brown would become a legend. Jeremiah's parents, Ginger and Samuel Brown, were of course legends in their own rights. By 1937, Ginger had become a household name, selling many pre-made dishes to the wives of railroad workers nationwide. Samuel Three-Toed Rafferty Brown, named for his three-toed sloth Kevin, became the captain of the infamous Flying Hobos, a poor man's bomber squadron which would airdrop vagrants into the rice fields of Okinawa, quickening the Allied advance one garbage can at a time. In his early life, however, Jeremiah had no idea of his parents' prowess or his own glorious future. A simple Harvard graduate by age 15, Jeremiah found himself working in a boot factory as an aglet wrangler. It was during this time that two life-changing events would happen. One, Jeremiah would lead the nickel corn union strike to a successful stalemate, and two, he would be caught in the Great Boot Collapse of 1952, losing control of his left ear and right mustache. He would never smile again. By 1956, Jeremiah had begun his hard trek into the heartlands of Alaska to work the Great Platte mines, and it would be in the checkered tunnels that Jeremiah would find his voice, and it would be one of a generation. Jeremiah began arranging his first concerts for his fellow miners, playing local beer halls, filling them with his distinctive lyrics, which some called indecipherable, and others nonsensical. It was the beginning of spring, and the beginning of the rest of his life. By 1957, Jeremiah Brown was putting his sound into the homes of tens of ordinary citizens, and for one man in particular, this would not stand. Archibald Duke, famous jazz cowbell player, was introduced to Brown on a Friday afternoon in October 1957. The two men became instant enemies, forming a lifelong hatred which would last the rest of their lives. Things came to a head when Archibald began his chain of freedom cafes, selling the word freedom written on tiny flags to the growing immigrant population. Jeremiah, a lover of heavy regulation and deterministic authoritarianism, took exception to such brazen displays and called Archibald to a duel. The duel was fought on the morning of September 9, 1962, at dawn a.m. The location and weapons were chosen by Duke, in keeping with the local customs of the time. He chose to fight on the ice plains, and the weapon, 12 caliber dueling bricks. Jeremiah was on thin ground. The duel lasted 4 hours, with both men locked in icy combat. Onlookers were horrified and fascinated in equal measure, and it became the inspiration for a radio series entitled Ice, Bricks, Death. On the 52nd minute of the third hour, both men threw their aces, but those aces would prove to be jokers, and the costs would be high. The ice broke suddenly under the feet of these two titans, sending both into the dark depths of the plains. 2 men went in, but would 2 men emerge? Yes. The duel went down in history as the slowest and indeed least successful duel of the 60s, narrowly beating out the famous Nixon-Mao kerfuffle. Both men emerged heroes. Jeremiah died on the 15th day of July, 1363 in the Persian calendar, though little is known of the cause. Some say he finally lost his battle with combustion and joined so many swans before him as a stain on the Tennessee landscape. Others say he went out into the woods one day and was eaten by bears, while others simply say he took a boat one day and never came back. All were true in their own way. And though Jeremiah Brown left behind many unfinished bootstraps, unable to be pulled up, and 16 children, he also left a legacy of inept dueling, fierce determination, and substantial moral courage in the face of ridiculous stories. Jeremiah Brown, American hero, Chinese vague recollection, Ukrainian most wanted.